This was weird, right?
Please do not subscribe if you're not ready to expand your mind. So how did a colored girl from Oakland become the it girl?
Besides the uncomfortable colored comment, which is very outdated because, girl, it is not the 1920s anymore. It's also just strange that paired with the thumbnail being like, white? Is Zendaya white passing? Because the video doesn't really talk about the nuances of race and what it means to be a light-skinned woman actress in the industry and how that might have benefited Zendaya in some ways, but she also faced racism and da-da-da-da-da. It doesn't talk about any of that. In fact, she says, we're not here to talk about whether or not Zendaya is white passing, which, by the way, that's not a conversation that I was really aware was really happening. I feel like people have pretty much seen her as like biracial or like a person of color, not colored. Weird. Also, I don't think that Zoe Unlimited needs to be like canceled, like get off the internet because you called this girl a derogatory term. I think she should definitely take accountability for it because, girl, that was a little weird. That was strange. That was weird. It just makes it weirder because the video isn't about that. Like, it's not about race. It's just about how Zendaya broke out of the Disney mold, which I feel like doesn't really fit in Zoe Unlimited's rebrand series because Zendaya just grew up. Like, she was always famous. I do think that the point of the interview where Zendaya was talking about how she would show up to events that she didn't necessarily belong at just to, you know, show face and be like, ooh, look at me. Ooh, I'm so classy and elegant, to shift away from that Disney perspective. I think that that was a good point and that is an interesting note. But aside from that, it's like, yeah, she grew up. Okay. And it's just the whole like rebrand argument paired with the picture of her with like a straight bob and a picture of her with locks, and then the question of is she white, and then none of that actually being unpacked in the video, you know, none of the racism. And you know what? If she was unpacking, you know, the racism and the nuance of Zendaya's privilege as a light-skinned biracial woman in the industry, maybe she would have realized that using the word colored was probably not the right choice. And I was looking through the comments and people were like, oh, but she probably didn't mean colored as like a derogatory term. She said, how did a colored girl end up being the it girl? That feels a little derogatory to me. I don't know, like colored has a little like hard R in it, like colored. Okay, not too much, not too much. I just thought it was weird. You know, I was just scrolling on TikTok when this caught my attention and I was just like, you know, not everything needs to be a take. I think that there was a point that Zoe said in her video where she was talking about the difference between popularity and prestige, where popularity is about getting all of the attention and prestige is about getting the right attention. And her argument was that Zendaya was focused more on prestige than popularity because prestige is what's more important. And I'm like, exactly. I feel like hence this video, because yes, Zendaya will get you some clicks, but I don't know if it'll get you the prestige because girl, this take was not it. And I will say I haven't watched a lot of Zoe Unlimited's videos. I mean, I watched more of them like back in the day, a couple years ago. This just caught my attention because I was like, huh? We calling a biracial girl colored in the big old 2026? And again, I don't think that we need to be like, let's boycott Zoe Unlimited, she's canceled. I just think that this was just not the right take and she can just, you know, own up to that and move on and we can all move forward in our lives. And it was weird. Again, not just because she used the word colored, but also pairing that with the thumbnail being like Zendaya is white, and then also not actually talking about that in the video at all, completely overlooking all the nuances of her privilege and the adversities that she faced, and also the fact that, again, she is not the first person of color to have been successful in this industry, not even on Disney Channel. Cough, cough, Raven Simone. It was just like a weird take. It was just made my skin crawl a little bit. I said, ooh, that was weird. Yeah. Anyway, I noticed she didn't really respond to any of the comments under the video, so I think she's just, you know, moving on with her life, which I feel like she could, you know, address it just a little bit, and be like, ooh guys, my bad, let me not do that again. Someone in the comments said she could even just like edit the color thing out. Like, I think you can keep the video, just edit the color comment out and change the thumbnail, because it's not about race. Like, you didn't really talk about race. Also take out the white passing thing too, because nobody was talking about that. Not to tell you what to do. I'm just saying, you know, it didn't hit how it was supposed to hit, and it comes off a little ignorant. I'm just saying, trying to help a sister out. Hey, we listen and we hold each other accountable. Yup. Bye.